What's up, guys? It's Galaxy Squad here again. We're going to discuss if Destiny Heroes are ever going to be good. I'm here with Dragon God and Fox, and let's get started. All right. So, in the past, Destiny Heroes have been a big engine. They're using Perfect Circle Monars, Teledad, Return Dad. They've been great, but will they ever be good by themselves?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, just looking at a lot of the cards, they're kind of very gimmicky and not really standalone as it is. It's kind of a big question whether or not Konami is actually trying to make the deck give it potential. Because then every once in a while they come out with some broken stuff like D-Draw or that new Pot of Greed Destiny here that's going to be out in a few. They do have a couple of cards that have been hit on the ban list, so there's definitely potential, but I just don't think Konami wants to work with it,
Yeah, they have a couple cards here and there that actually contribute to archetypes, but all they are is splashing the other OP decks. Because we have stuff like Blade Master, Malicious that are just like great or crap, and then Dasher, which was great back in the 2000s. And then Diamond Dude, which is kind of relevant here and there. It has its hit and miss days. So why doesn't Konami give this archetype the support that it deserves?
Well, in all fairness, I feel like Konami, their ideal behind this archetype is not to make it good. Because I guess you gotta remember that they do still get support from the Elemental Hero archetype and the Mass Hero archetype. And I guess they prefer not to see another Dark Law deck at the same time. But really though, like, I do agree with y'all. I feel like they're not giving the deck anything, because like the cards all work in different style of decks. Like for example, let's use Dreadmaster as a card, one of their first boss monsters along with Plasma and Dogma. Dreadmaster back in the day, even then he wasn't a really strong card, but back then his effect seemed like, so worthwhile if you were actually able to resolve his actual summoning condition through having Clock Tower Prison gain its 4 counters through its 4 turn cycles of your opponent's turn, and then proceed to be destroyed then. And then it took so long and so much effort, and it required everything to go so right for you to drop Dreadmaster. While Dreadmaster himself bringing back 2 Destiny Heroes and then basically gaining the attack of all of them and then giving them pseudo hexproof, it's a really strong effect. I feel like overall they never gave the deck anything, like they didn't point the deck in one direction. Like they gave us Malicious, which at first you could be like, oh well, it contributes more to a tribute fodder for the Destiny Hero, like the bigger ones like Dogma and Plasma. But that card sees no real play inside the deck outside of the new support, which is Deadly Guy, so you can make rank 6s and stuff like that, which is interesting. But I feel like if they just took it in one specific route, like for example, they went with D3, which supports the 2 big monster themes, while then they were still making like Drill Guy and Decision Guy and Dark Angel, which like arguably Dark Angel contributes, but at the same time, like, what does it really do on its own? Like you said, Neos, the deck does, like, the cards do not stand alone well. They're very combo oriented, and even the pieces that they combo with they're not up to par with our metagame. Like,
And one thing I really see with the Destiny Hero engine not being like too good nowadays is because the cards do almost too much. They're spreading themselves out too thin. Like examples of great archetypes like Necros, they all focused on one thing. Dragon Rulers, they all focused on one thing. But the Destiny Hero archetype doesn't seem to do that too much.
Yeah, like none of their cards have any flow. I feel like if they had just stuck by, summoning Dogma and Plasma, or maybe an In-Dragoon strategy, or even going about the Clock Tower Prison route, just giving more consistency and making your clock go up faster, those would have been viable builds. It's just that like you said, they're going way too thin. They're giving themselves way too much variety, and it's not good for them. And arguably, like, even their new trap card, they got D-Fusion, that card is awful, dude. Fusing from the field only. I get that it gives them some sort of pseudo evasion during that turn, but at the same time, like, when you look at it, it's just like, I have to control the 2 monsters. Well, yes, it being a trap card, if I have, say, a Mali and whatever else on the field, I can basically targeting removal, or like dodge Regeki and Dark Holes, but that's not enough. It's not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have...
You go.
then you also have to consider the time it came out in, which anime archetypes weren't even supported as much. Elemental Heroes first got like the role going with that, but Destiny Heroes just didn't make the cut for like Elemental Heroes did or Utopia Deck did.
So yeah, all that said, what do you guys think the archetype would actually need for it to be standalone? How many cards, what effects?
That is a very good question. Thing is, I don't really know what it will need. That's up to Konami itself. Like, first of all, you could give them all their stuff back, or errata a disc commander to make it archetype specific at least, or give them another pseudo boss monster that's at least decent. Like Dogma and Plasma are decent, but it's not enough for the deck to operate at full power.
And see, like, I feel you there, but personally, if I had to choose like support for the deck to game, I'd have to say I'd want it to be more towards the in-Dragoon strategy, because like I think in my opinion, yes, Dragoons, it's still easy to get it off the field. You can Castell it, Ignister it, Destroyer it. But outside of like Castell, Ignister, and let's say Rippling Mirror Force and Storming Mirror Force, the card is actually fairly strong. It is resilient, and well, yes, its summoning conditions may be a little bit but it's not that hard, because for one thing, you're getting a lot of draw power. Destiny Heroes do fall inside the attribute of Dark. You get access to the fusion material, which is both 8, so you can play trade-ins, and then you get easy searching out of Shadow Mist. I feel like Dragoon is a very strong card with his Vulcasaurus-like effect and the ability to recur himself by banishing Destiny Heroes from the graveyard. I feel like if they went more towards that route, the deck would have been a little bit stronger, because, we would have got another decent fusion deck into the format. And I'm not saying it had to be, like, meta game breaking or anything like that, but, like, they need to pick a direction. Like, even the Clock Tower Prison route, to make that build, I'd say, a little bit more viable. For one thing, they have a card that actually helps the Clock Tower Prison. Let me check it. It's like clock.
Oh, that one. That like adds 2 counters.
Yeah, Eternal Dread. Put 2 counters on your Clock Tower Prison. Let's say they made a spell card that had a similar effect, like maybe put 1 counter or 2 counters on it, and then get some sort of way to replace the card. Like maybe during your next turn, be able to banish it to search out another Destiny Hero. Do something like that. Or maybe next turn banish it, put 2 more counters on your Clock Tower Prison. Something to either A, speed up Clock Tower Prison's effect would be great, or just going more towards this in-Dragoon strategy. Like, don't get me wrong, the boss monsters they created are very unique and very interesting for their kind. A boss monster that pseudo-anthems the entire field of all Destiny Hero monsters by tuning for every other Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, it's nice. I love that. It's a great effect, it does nice. But at the same time, in our current metagame, and even the metagames that are foreseeable in the future through our OCG companions, ABCs, Metaphosis variants, any form of Pendulum variant right now, especially because our list hasn't heard any of the Pendulum variants as bad as people would have thought. And then DDDs. These are all really strong decks in the OCG right now. They outpace, out-advantage, while arguing that Celestial as a monster helps the D-Hero archetype because you get to draw 2 so you can burn through your resources. I feel like it's not doing enough for the deck to like really pace it along and get it going, because once again, just spread too thin. It tries to do too much.
Yeah, what is really lacking is viable main deck monsters, just like Heroes, with the exception of Shadow Mist, but that's another conversation for another time. Catch you guys later. Team Galaxy signing out.